It reads.
Okay, I'm
Ready?
gonna go ahead and turn that one on.
Okay.
Let's be on the safe side.
Okay.
Y'all go ahead and start.
Let's call the meeting to order for July 15th. I'll ask Gina Carnes if she would lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gina. First item on the agenda is approval of the regular meeting minutes from July 1st, 2024. If there are no questions or concerns about the minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from last meeting.
Motion by Clayton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Gina. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, next up is approval and ratification of the bills. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the bills? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve them. Motion by Billy, second by Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Have any visitors? George, you want to say anything? Okay. Ruby? All right.
Well, I do want to thank the council and you, Mayor, for upping us on the plans on our pay. So appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to do it.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah. It's a tough job. We appreciate you guys taking it on. All right, next up is second and final reading of ordinance related to moratorium reassessment program. Earlene?
Whereas the City of Leitchfield may, pursuant to KRS 99.595 through 99.605 and KRS 132.452, create a program for qualifying properties to be granted a city property tax reduction. And whereas in order to promote a reduction in housing costs and economic development to the community, such a program is in the best interest of the citizens of Leitchfield. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky as follows: Property Assessment and Reassessment Moratorium Program. The City of Leitchfield hereby establishes a property assessment and reassessment moratorium program for qualifying properties pursuant to KRS 99.595 through 99.605 and KRS 132.452. Qualifying conditions of structures: all owners of existing residential or commercial structures at least 25 years old may qualify for a reassessment moratorium if the cost of the improvements made to the structure to repair, rehabilitate, restore, or stabilize are equal to at least 25% of the value of the improvements on the property based on the latest assessment made by the Grayson County Property Valuation Administrator. The administrating agencies for the moratorium program in the City of Leitchfield shall be the City of Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department. Applications shall be received and reviewed by the City Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department and forwarded to the Grayson County Property Valuation Administrator to complete the inspection phase of the assessment process. The applications for moratorium certificates shall be made to the Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department at least 30 days prior to any construction work on the property is to begin. Each application for a moratorium certificate will include or be accompanied by a general description of the property, proof the property is at least 25 years old, a general description of the proposed use of the property, the nature and extent of the restoration, repair, rehabilitation, or stabilization, and cost estimates based on bids submitted to the owner, a time schedule for undertaking and completing the project. If the property is commercial, a descriptive list of the fixed building equipment which will be a part of the facility and a statement of the economic advantage. Expected construction employment shall be part of the application. The Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department and the Grayson County Property Value Administrator shall maintain a record of all applications for a property assessment or reassessment moratorium. The Property Value Administrator shall assess or reassess the property within 30 days of receipt of the application. The applicant shall have 2 years as approved by the Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department in which to complete the improvements unless granted an extension by the Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department. In no case shall the application be extended beyond 2 additional years. Upon notice by the applicant to the Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department that the work has been completed on the property, a Leitchfield Code Enforcement officer shall conduct an on-site inspection of the property to certify that the improvements described in the application have been completed. The Leitchfield Code Enforcement Department shall then certify to the property valuation administrator that the improvements have been completed and a moratorium certificate shall be issued. However, no moratorium certificate will be issued on a property in which there are delinquent City of Leitchfield bills. Any application for an assessment or reassessment moratorium not acted upon by the applicant shall become void 2 years from the date of application. The moratorium shall become effective on the assessment date next following the issuance of the moratorium certificate and shall remain in effect for 5 years. An assessment or reassessment moratorium certificate may be transferred or assigned by the holder of the certificate to a new owner or lessee of the property. Any property granted an assessment or reassessment moratorium may be eligible for a subsequent moratorium certificate, provided that reapplication is made prior to the expiration of 3 years following the expiration of the original moratorium. On the assessment date next following the expiration, cancellation, or revocation of an assessment or reassessment moratorium, the property shall be assessed on the basis of its full fair value. Value shall be based, that should be a shall. Value shall be based on the guidelines administered by the property valuation administrator. If any provision in this chapter is now or becomes amended, or its application to any person or circumstance is held invalid, the invalidity does not affect other provisions that can be given effect without the invalid provision or application. And this is an ordinance, so it'll be a vote tonight, a roll call.
Roll call. Any questions on that or discussion on that before we vote on it? Okay. I'll take a motion to allow us a roll call.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Clayton, second by Tootie. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, Denny.
Aye.
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 All right, thank you, guys. Okay. Next up, discussion of employee holidays. We had started this discussion back last year when we added a holiday to the employees, for the employees. So let's have a discussion, see what people think. I've been asked about adding days, so we'll take time now to discuss it. If anybody's got any, right now, I think
How many holidays do you have now?
We have
Total?
10.
You
10.
You have 9 plus 1 floating.
Yes.
Which I think it's important to keep in mind that that floating holiday is Juneteenth, and that could become an official observed holiday upon any year, to where we have to take Juneteenth. Right now, it's optional, correct?
Correct.
And you can use it anywhere. I don't foresee that always staying optional. I can see within the next few years where that will be a required observed holiday. So I think that we need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, right now, City Hall employees and office employees use their floating holiday the day after Thanksgiving. Anybody else can use theirs whenever, because they
and
work that day, so.
when we compare ourselves to other cities our size and to the county, I think we're 4 short right now as far as comparison to the county. Is that correct?
Yeah. County and Clarkson both have 14.
Yeah.
I think just thinking about it, New Year's Eve is probably one that we need to look at at this time, and then the day after Thanksgiving. I'm like Terry, I do think at some point Juneteenth will become a federal holiday that we're required to observe. So, so what do you guys think?
Doesn't this show the day after Thanksgiving as floating holiday?
Well, I've got a note out there if you'll, that the city.
Oh, there it is.
That we use ours and the rest of everybody else can use theirs
Gotcha.
whenever.
Sorry about that.
Mayor, I think it's a really good idea, especially since, I mean, if we just look at the county alone, with the count, but I mean, the county also has 2 holidays in there that, aren't they off for like the primary election
Election
and
day.
general election? I mean, there's no
Yes.
reason for us to observe those with all of the early voting
Right.
opportunities now, and plus with, I mean, the precincts stay open till 6 and you can vote anywhere. But to at least get us up a little bit closer and more competitive with the county. I mean, we've already worked on our salaries and wages. I agree with making the day after Thanksgiving, taking that floating holiday off of there and making that an observed holiday as well as New Year's Eve.
And at that point, would we officially make Juneteenth the floating holiday for all city employees? Is that, or would we
I mean,
allow
that's-
some to?
That's gonna be up to your all's discretion, I guess.
And another thing, looking at this list, us and one other city are the only ones that don't observe Veterans Day.
Right.
To me, that's,
Floating holiday is actually their birthday.
Yeah, they changed that right before Sabrina and I got hired.
Yeah, and I think it was actually their birthday, and then it got changed to, you could take any day with it.
Okay.
But Gina, did you say Veterans Day?
if you
I am 100% in favor of giving our employees observed holidays on Veterans Day, the day after Thanksgiving, and New Year's Eve. I would be 100% in favor of that. And then that way you could leave that floating holiday, decide on that next year.
And I'm
So-
fine with that too. If, I think at this point, it's a matter of how quickly we want to, I'd like to see us at some point get up to the 14 mark. That's one way of, we have lost a couple of employees to the county, and one of them in particular that I talked to, part of his reasoning was that he got more time off. He was a part-time farmer, and he got more time off with the county, and so that's something to look at too, is being able to compete. I think with our pay now, we've gotten competitive with about anybody, in our area. And this is just another way, as Lori and I have been to meetings with KLC, and, there was a lot of different ways they mentioned that you could stay competitive now and retain employees and even recruit good employees, so.
And we have to.
Holidays was definitely one of those that's
Yeah.
been mentioned every time.
We can sit up here and we can meet all day long, every day, and we can amend ordinances, and we can create ordinances, and we can implement all kinds of things. But if we don't have the employees to follow through on all of those, then everything that we're doing is defeated. So
I think-
Gina, are you,
What about birthday?
What about
Well,
what?
that's what I asked birthday, that's with the floating, that's what I was wondering.
That's basically
if-
what the floating day is.
I think number one, we need to find out what days you're wanting. You've mentioned twice, then you keep adding. How many days are there that you want, and what are those days?
well, if you have.
Is what I would like to have. What are the days? What are your 4 days you want to add?
And I think we've anticipated some questions like that too, Billy. Sabrina has some costs. Do you have that too?
Yeah, it's gonna
That-
be pretty similar to the last time we talked about
Yeah.
the holiday. It's not, in the scale of, the pay scale, it's not much money.
It's minimal,
Talked
yeah.
about, Yeah.
We're going to pay them whether they're here or not, outside of an emergency call-out, police department, animal shelter. And that'll vary, you know, especially with utilities. They may stay out all day and all night, or they may not have any calls at all, you know. That's something we can
That's
get an
part of doing
average, but,
business. Yeah, that's part of doing business.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta do that.
And usually those call-outs happen on holidays
Yeah,
for those
for some
people.
reason,
I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately, that's just the way the statistics
So my
fall for
initial
them.
question,
Right.
what days are they?
So looking at, here's what I think we're talking about.
Just tell me what days
I-
you want.
Okay, so we're looking at, right now, adding the day after Thanksgiving, New Year's
Black
Eve.
Friday.
Yes.
New Year's Eve, Veterans Day, I'd like to have, and I'm not clear on where the floating holiday's going, because I've heard birthday and I heard Juneteenth.
Well, it would stay floating if the last I heard you all mention.
Okay, so they can use it whenever.
whenever they wanted
Okay,
to.
I'm good with that.
And Juneteenth.
And
Juneteenth is the floating holiday.
Okay, I've got three. What's your fourth?
Well, that would be.
That would be the floating.
That would be the fourth one, Billy. Juneteenth would, if we
chose
keep
to
the
take-
floating holiday as it is now.
So or day after Thanksgiving.
So he's looking for 14, right?
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
One more, you
Yeah.
still need
You know, most
President-
people have President's Day.
President's Day is the other one that-
Juneteenth really isn't,
Yeah,
So
I
is
mean,
that what
it's
we're
standard.
asking for?
there's only 3 that aren't on.
I assume we're asking for 3 days, Veterans Days, day after Thanksgiving, and New Year's Eve, as far as the 3 days, and then they'll have a floating day to pick from whatever's left of the
well, the
holidays.
floating day's already there.
So-
The floating day's already there, so basically,
Do it.
in
We're
the
adding
best
3.
case scenario, you're looking at 4 days and keeping the floating holiday to match what, yeah.
I make a motion, we adopt new holidays as far as Veterans Day, the day after Thanksgiving, and New Year's Eve. And That's
Second.
also consistent with all the other cities. That's predominantly the ones they've adopted, so we be consistent with that. So that's my motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Denny, second by Billy. That's adding 3 days.
Keeping the floating holiday.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You opposed, Wes?
Nope, thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. I'm certain the employees will be thankful for that also. All right, next up is declare City Hall shredder as surplus and advertise for sale at govdeals.com. That shredder, we've had some problems with it. It's a very expensive item, so we have contracted, what's the name of the company? Shred?
Paper shred,
Paper
or
Shred.
Paper Predator.
Paper Predator, and they
And their
have
fee is pretty, I mean, it's,
Yeah,
what,
it's
$35, $40 a month?
$35, $40 a month, and they provide the receptacle to put it in, and they pick it up now monthly. So that does away with basically probably a $2,500, $3,000 shredder that we would have to buy to replace the old one.
And the
So-
reason we did that, this one actually started making a knocking noise. We can get it fixed, but Lane is the people that can work on it, and they said it was gonna cost as much to fix it as it would be to buy a new one. It's 20-plus years old. Tammy said it was here when she started, so, I mean, it's been, it's done its life expectancy, but I think we could probably still maybe get a little bit out of it on Gov Deals.
And at $30 or $40 a month, I can't remember the exact number,
Yeah.
it'd take us a long time to make up enough to buy new ones.
8 years is what I calculated, at 3,500.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
Plus the the time, the employees have to stand back there shredding, and, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that, yes,
Emptying it
you
and,
gotta
yeah.
haul out.
It's just a lot cleaner with
Yeah.
the group we've got now. They come
more
in once a
efficient.
month and haul it off.
So
We
you
never
want a
have to worry
motion?
about it.
I'll make a motion to advertise bids for the shredder.
Motion by Billy.
Gov Deals, right?
Gov Deals.
Motion by Billy, second
Yeah,
by
for
Gina.
sale
All in
on Gov
favor?
Deals.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. Next up is authorization to open a checking account for ballpark credit card payments. And that will include, we actually ordered today to get internet service down there that will allow us to use credit cards there. thus far, it's only been cash. And there's a lot of money goes through there just with cash. I think with credit cards, we'll see a big change with that, so.
Are we gonna eat the 4% or
That's up to y'all, if y'all wanna charge a fee.
everybody's starting to charge it now?
If the fees are,
They're expensive.
they are costly and it will take away from concessions, so, I mean, that's something to consider if you want
Yeah.
to, pass the fee along, or,
I don't expect adding it would make a lot of difference to people that want to use their credit card down there.
No.
It never does to me. People ask me,
No.
and I'm like, if I need to use the credit card, so. Internet service down there, we looked several different ways. It was going to cost several $1,000s to get Comcast down there and everything, so I talked to Sean Napper, and his suggestion was Starlink, and that's plenty. It's 120 a month. We can turn it off anytime we want. We can turn it on anytime we want. So in the wintertime, we won't have a bill. So we actually ordered that equipment today, and when it comes in, we'll have him install it. But that's by far the most economical way to do it.
So can anybody use it? Can anybody log on the Wi-Fi when it's over?
No, not at this point. Now, at some point,
Gotcha.
we may want to, but it'll just basically be dedicated to the credit card machines.
So just